These postures, Nama-rupa, occur in pairs. Let us say when you are sitting, both mind and body occur, and standing, sitting and standing, and stepping, and stopping, and Nama-rupa occur in pairs. Now let us take a case of sitting process. First, there is the intention to sit, and the intention arises in series, and this is followed by the series of sitting process. So intention to sit is Nama, and sitting process is Rupa. Now in the case of standing from sitting position, the intention to stand is Nama, and actual standing process, that the body is lifting up, feeling light. This is the Rupa materiality. And when you are going to step, walk, the intention to walk or step in series is Nama, and actual stepping or walking, feeling being pushed, feeling that you are being pushed or pulled. All these things are Rupa or materiality. So in this way, the Nama-rupa occur in pairs. They are quite obvious. And when you are going to stop from walking, there is intention to stop and the stopping process. So this is also a process of Nama-rupa, mind and body. So in all these four postures, this mind and body are evident, and this is evident in this very life, let alone the previous or future lives. If being previously, prior to the practice, or prior to your coming to the retreat, being unmindful, several times these activities occurred without mindfulness. Just casually, things arose or things have arisen. In future also, these activities will occur, such as sitting, standing, walking, stopping, lying, and so on. And the past activities are not obvious. It will be just imagination. They will not be definite. And the future will be... if you think about future objects, it will be mere projection. Only the presently arising activities are obvious and evident, and because they are fresh and hot. So that's why it is said that one has got to be mindful at the moment of sitting, standing, and so on, at the moment of arising. Always. That means without break. Then you must, when you're noting, you must note mastering. You must master the restraining forces of mindfulness and note. With all the mental forces, mental power, mobilizing all the mental powers, namely faith and devotion in the practice, and strong desire to realize purity, which will lead to effort, strong effort, in order to practice without regard to life and your life and body, or body and life, and then also this effort, the effort to push or to direct your noting mind towards the object of observation, so that you can note it concurrently with pinpoint precision. So only when you are able to mobilize these mental powers will you be able to practice in the spirit of Satipatthana. Four postures, all these activities are quite obvious. And sitting also is quite obvious. When you are noting sitting, some yogis would ask how to note sitting. They do not fully understand how to note this sitting posture when they are asked to note sitting and touching, in addition to rising and falling. Some would note just parts of the body. One should note the whole body. Your noting mind should envelop, engulf the whole body, because sitting takes place with the whole body, not just part of the body. Since the whole body is involved, your noting mind should know to engulf the whole body, not parts of the body. Same thing goes with standing. When you're noting standing posture, your noting mind should engulf the whole standing body, the whole body, which is standing. In walking, of course, you can know the whole body, but it is advised to note the most evident moving parts of the body, namely the foot or the legs, and not necessary to go to the whole body. In standing, you have to know the whole body, because it's not only the legs which are standing, the whole body is standing. So you must know the whole body. And the text is given to note from bottom up. Some would note from top to bottom, but this is all right. You can note from top to bottom. But it is more realistic to note from bottom up, because you are standing with the legs first. You stop walking with your legs are more evident, because the pressure is felt in the legs. So, but anyway, you can note either way. It is advised not to note and know things from imagination. It should be done from experiential realization. Otherwise, it's not easy to realize the Nama-Rupa Dhammas, the universal principles of truth about mind and body, and also not to think or not to find out whether this is Nama or Rupa. This will amount to stretching your imagination. And when you're noting, you note in a composite manner. For instance, when you're noting sitting posture, you note in a composite manner, not to find out the parts of the body, parts of the sitting body. When your concentration deepens, you'll be able to focus on the most prominent part of the sitting process. For instance, when you are face to face with a person, when you meet a person, you look at his or her face, and you just look at the face in a composite manner, the whole face. Your interest is on the whole face in the beginning. When you are properly focused, you may be seeing the forehead, his or her forehead, or the lips, or the nose, or eyes, depending on your interest or depending on your concentration. But first of all, you look at the face as a whole. Later on, with the proper concentration, you'll be able to focus on the parts of the face. The same thing goes with the sitting. When you're noting sitting, not to find out is it Nama or Rupa. When concentration deepens, you'll be able to realize the nature of sitting, such as stiffness, tension, heaviness in the body. You'll be able to discern them. And also, if you're more careful, you'll be able to discover the intention to sit. That is, which is mentality, Nama. Whatever it is, you are bound to observe the mind and body in this sitting process. So this is how to note this sitting posture, not from imagination. One can practice from imagination. One needs not come to the retreat. One can stay at home and read a book and imagine that this is Nama or Rupa. It is for experiential knowledge one comes to this retreat. So leave aside the imagination for the time being. As I said, conceptual realization is not true knowledge, and the observation will be impure. Experiential realization is true knowledge. The observation is pure.
What do you do?
He practiced, or he studied Abhidhamma since he was 12 years old, up to the ninth vasa, that is ninth seniority as ordained monk. And during the studies he was able to understand the mind and body and other things like aggregates and dhatu elements and such a truth. From the theoretical aspect, he can talk about these things from the theoretical aspect. But since there's no practice, he was not able to put them down into practice, implement them into practice. And later on, when he came into practice, he left aside all the theoretical knowledge and practice, and he was able to realize the just mere Dhamma, the universal principles of truth as such from the practical aspects. So then he realized that this theoretical knowledge is not enough. One must supplement, or one must have this practical experience. Thus he is exhorting you to realize from experience and not from conceptual knowledge, not from conceptual realization. And he exhorts you to not to waste time and to be able to devote time on the practice so that you get the real knowledge on the universal principles of truth from the practical aspect. In order to, there are two kinds of knowledge. One is the vipassana knowledge, that is insight knowledge, vipassana panya, insight wisdom, to realize the characteristics beginning with the discernment of mind and body and so on. And another wisdom or knowledge is Ariya Mega Panya, that is the knowledge of the noble ones, the path of the noble ones. So these are the two kinds of wisdom. And in order to realize these two wisdom, there are two causes. That is, first you must learn from the competent teachers, beginning with the enlightened one, to understand the correct method, how to practice this way of mindfulness from both the theoretical and practical aspects. If one does not know, one must approach the teacher in order to know the practice, to learn the practice. That this is how you have to practice, and this is how you can realize the mind and body through the practice. One cannot just grope in the dark. Without learning, one cannot practice. And the second cause for the realization of this wisdom is the right attention. In Pali, yoniso manasikara. Right attention is directly translated as right attention, but in this, as far as the practice is concerned, it is the mindfulness concurrently, mindfulness of the arising object in the body in a concurrent manner. That is, as soon as the objects arise in the body, one must note concurrently with effective mindfulness. And when these two conditions are fulfilled, you are bound to realize through the different progress, through the different levels of insight knowledge. If one of them is deficient, if you are not able to fulfill any one of these conditions or both of the conditions, then you will not cultivate knowledge. The two dhammas, universal truths, namely mind and body, will be evident. There will be this intention to lie down, which is mentality, nama, and actual process of lying down on the bed, such as heaviness, sinking body, the body sinking down heavily and so on. All these things are the materialities of the lying process. So when you are on bed already, you may be leaning, as the case may be, on the left or right side. Then also the mind and body, both the mind and body, are evident. The mind and body process are evident. And namely the intentions to lean and then the actual leaning process, that is stiffness, tension, heaviness, movement. And when you're changing sides, leaning to another side, then also you will have this mind and body process evident mind and body process, namely the intention to change or lean, followed by the actual leaning or changing process, stiffness, tension, movement. So as to know this mind and body process, you are to note at the moment of lying. So, and at the moment of leaning, at the moment of changing sides, then you are bound to see the mind-body states, Namarupa Dhammas. If thus you are advised to focus carefully or pay attention during the actual lying process. When you wake up from bed, you are to be mindful from the beginning of getting up. As soon as you open your eyes and think of getting up. Same thing goes in walking. You are to pay attention to the foot in every step. In one step, it is divided. Each step is divided into 3 parts. Of course, one can divide into more than 3 parts, but 3 parts will be sufficient for the practice. That is lifting, moving and placing of the foot. And while you are mindful of this lifting and moving, placing process, you are bound to see the evident mind and body process. Because you are from standing position, you are going to move forward, walk, to take a walk. You first lift your foot. Now in lifting, there is intention to lift first, which is followed by the actual lifting process. If you are careful, you will be able to grasp this intention to lift. And you follow closely, firmly, the lifting process. And the foot will lift off the ground, and you follow it very closely from beginning to end. And you will be observing the lightness and pushing up as though you are being pushed up. All these things are movement. All these things are rupa, materiality, the process of the body. Thus, if you are mindful, you are bound to see the mind-body process in the lifting process. Same thing goes with the moving process. There will be intention to move your foot forward, and you will feel pushing and pulling, and movement, lightness, softness, coolness, heat, and so on. If you are careful, if you are mindful at the moment of moving. Thus, if you follow the moving process from beginning to end, you are bound to realize mind and body process. And if you are able to penetrate this moving process, as has been mentioned in the definition of Satipatthana, and one has got to be alert and vigilant in the practice so as to engulf the whole object firmly. And at the end of movement, the placing will take place. There also, there is this intention as well as the actual placing process. Intention to place and the placing process, which consists of heaviness, rubbing with the cloth, heat, cold, movement, stiffness, tension, and so on. So these things will be, some yogis can report such things in detail because they are very careful in the practice. If you look well, you are bound to see well. If you cannot look well, you will not see well. If you cannot look at all, you will not see at all. So during the process of placing, you are bound to see the mind-body process. All these things are experiential knowledge, not the knowledge which you gain from books, teachers, or hearsay or speculation. These are real knowledge. Since in every mindfulness, the mental powers are not fully mobilized, as has been said, not based on the faith and devotion. Faith and devotion is very weak or absent, and the desire to practice, the zeal is also very weak or absent. Then one cannot make effort. There will be no push, and there will be no aiming. Since all these mental powers are not fully mobilized, the noting mind is superficial, like a floating cork on the surface of the water, as explained in the case of Satipatthana. And because one's mindfulness is not powerful, although one seems to be noting the life-lifting, moving process, placing process, one is doing superficially. One's noting mind is sliding over these lifting, moving, placing process. And on top of that, if one is, prone to fantasies, then it'll float more and more on the surface of just like the cork floating on the surface of the water. And one will not be able to be with the moments, that is the lifting, moving and placing process. Thus one will not know anything about this lifting, moving process, although one is doing walking meditation, so-called walking meditation. Later on one realizes that one has missed the points, missed the moments, then one realizes, oh, I have missed them. So such yogis also are, there are also such yogis. So walking meditation is very important. The concentration during walking should be carried over to the sitting concentration. If one cannot deepen one's concentration during walking, then one cannot carry this over to the sitting meditation, and one will not be able to deepen one's concentration. Only when you can concentrate on your walking meditation will you be able to concentrate deeper in the sitting meditation on the process of rising and falling of the abdomen. Then only you will be able to intensify your momentary concentration. For those yogis who are very careful and respectful in the practice, understanding and cherishing the benefits of the practice, will mobilize all the mental forces, master the restraining forces of mindfulness, and note every arising object. Thus they will be able to absorb the essences of the practice. Like when you throw a stone in the water, it will sink substantially. And they will be able to note the lifting, moving process as the object of meditation effectively, such as they will be able to realize the intention first, which is mentality, nama, then the actual lifting, moving, placing process, which is rupa or materiality, like heaviness, such sensations or qualities like heaviness, stiffness, pressure, heat, cold, softness, hardness. All these things are rupa dhamma, the universal principles of truth, of materiality. Thus they will be able to discern the mind and body. Previously they were not aware of this mind and body process, thus they cling to the view of self, distorted view of self or soul or person, the existence of person, being, individual, man, woman. Now, since they are able to discern mind and body, and there's nothing besides mind and body, they will not hold any more distorted view like previously, because they are able to penetrate the true nature of things. And when they are able to discern mind and body, truly, there will be no more identity, that is, distorted view or wrong view of individuality or self or soul. They will be free of this view. This is the basic step in the progress of the insight knowledge. Thus, may be able to understand, practice with care and respect and understanding and cherishing the benefits of this way of mindfulness, and noting by mastering the restraining forces of mindfulness, and be able to discern mind and body, and thus be able to be free from all these distorted view of self or soul, and achieve peace and fulfillment. That's all for this evening.